What do you do that other teams maybe haven't done or haven't done well against them?
Well, you got to we're trying to stick to probably what we do well, and you're going to have to be able to live with, not every single run's going to be a home run. That's the reality when you play somebody like this. So I would say, I think the big thing in this game would be just limit the negatives, because it seems like they get a lot of tackles for losses in the run game. So if we can eliminate the negatives and kind of stay on schedule, that would be the challenge. That's a lot easier said than done versus these guys.
What do you see at the quarterback position between where Robbie was through 5 games and then Deshaun coming in and touchdowns each other state?
Yeah, well, we've always said we got the utmost confidence in both of them. Both of them have their own unique skill set. Both are athletic, both can run. Both, it's not like we really have to change the offense for either one. So, it wasn't like when Deshaun played, we had to have this radical change. We had to do a lot of the same stuff, but just like the rest of the offense, pleased with the growth, that we've had from the beginning of the year to where we are now, and just, the challenge will be in the back half of the season. We're kind of at that midway point, is continuing to get better, continue to growing, and that's the challenge each and every day.
We saw it for 3 weeks in fall camp. We saw what Deshaun looked like, and then he kind of gets lost in the sauce when Robbie
right.
started. What growth was there in Deshaun from fall camp and what we saw then to what we saw at Oregon?
Well, he's a young player, and obviously he's really talented. We got a lot of talented guys on the offense, but he was a young player in a new offense. And one of the ways that we practice, it's close to a 50-50 split in terms of reps. So we're always trying to grow and develop the depth of our roster, not just a quarterback, but every position. So with time, repetition is the mother of all skills. You just seen him get more comfortable with the offense, being able to execute.
I'm not asking you to give away anything top secret or anything, but is it possible we might see Deshaun in some spots situationally, not because Robbie's hurt or because Robbie's not performing, but just because you like what he would bring to you in that situation?
It's all on the table. So everything's on the table. So we're going to play the best guys, for any given situation. So it's all on the table.
What have you seen from both those guys over the last week and a half during the 5 week? Obviously, Robbie trying to get him 100%.
Right.
And Deshaun, you want him to continue growing. How they done?
I think both of them have the same challenge to continue to grow, continue to get better. It's been different. Obviously, with Robbie, it's about getting healthy, and he certainly made a lot of strides in that. And with Deshaun, every time you play a game, you're always going, whether you win or lose, there's always something that you can improve on. And, so there's some things that, he can improve on from that game that we got to get a little better at. And then there's things that he and the rest of the offense we can build on. So, it's no different than any other position. Every guy on the offense has the same challenge. What do I need to improve on, and what do I need to build on?
I guess you go about the explosive plays have obviously been there and been a really big help for the offense. Then you need to have some more sustained drives. You need to finish drives better. How do you go about addressing that without losing some of the explosiveness?
There's always that fine balance. You really want to play aggressive. Sometimes when you play aggressive, that invites maybe some longer yardage situations. But I think, just in general, when we've gone back and looked at it really over both bye weeks, sustained execution, and that comes with just continuing to grow, mental toughness. It really kind of probably shows up in the second half, I would say, more often than not. Just the ability to sustain for 60 minutes is something that we want to continue to preach. They've made strides, and, I do think college football is a little bit different nowadays. Seems like the scoring is down at times, and so the defense is certainly every D line you play, including this bunch, seems like they got guys that are problems. But just developing the instinct that when you got them on the ropes, finish the drive off. That's something that we're continuing to harp on every day. So I don't think there's a magical answer to it. Other than just continuing to fight for it, and you got to give credit too to some of the defenses we've played. They it's not all just us. They've done some really good job. They've done a really good job some of the teams that we've played, but we got to control what we can control and cleaning up some of the mistakes as the drive goes on. Is something we're harping on.
I think scoring is down in college football because everybody plays too high and everybody just wants to keep everything in front.
It varies from team to team. I think one of the games are a little shorter, it feels like. And I do think, with the parity, it's starting to remind me more of like what you see on Sunday, where the game's shorter and it's like now everybody's got really good players on the defense, through portal, and all that stuff. So, you kind of got to play it a little bit differently, and make sure you give yourself a chance to win the game at the end.
Everybody's not going to have 80 snaps a game.
Yeah, it seems like that's starting to, you get it every now and then, but it seems like that's starting to go away a little bit.
How much fun has it been for you as an offensive coordinator to see the emergence of Chris Barnes and realize you got to figure out some ways to get that guy the ball a little bit more, right?
Yeah, he's one of them for sure. Very talented, can do a lot of things. Probably the most impressed that I think we've been as coaches is he's a young player, and the amount that is on his plate of being able to line up in different spots, he's been able to handle that really well. But, all the wideouts we've been really pleased with, because when he moves, somebody else has got to move too. So just, that group continuing to grow and mature, it's been awesome to see. Coach Edwards has done a fantastic job of getting that group. Their level of play has really improved. Go back to fall camp, start of the season, they really have continued to improve.
You guys all good? All right.
This is the first team from Texas who's played. I was like,
I believe so.
oh man,
Well, there's like 13 teams in Texas. It's kind of surprising that it's taken 5 years before I've played my first one.
it took the league adding a team from Texas to get you on
That is true. That is true.
Did you know there was 13 in Texas? I didn't.
I think it's around 13.
I would
Oh,
trust.
I think.
I would
You
trust.
said it so assertively, I just assumed it was fact.
What's the key to stopping this offense, in particular, Sever Jones?
I think it's just staying disciplined. Kevin Jennings, he's an elite playmaker. He can extend plays. He knows how to trick you into thinking something, and then he'll pop it over you. So I feel like just being disciplined, sticking to your keys, is probably the most important part this week.
Yeah, 2 tight ends they throw the ball to. A little tougher on the linebackers to cover 2.
Not necessarily, I would say. I always kind of like 12 personnel because 12 personnel is a little bit more run, so it's a little more downhill, so I get to have a little contact in there.
Typical linebacker answer.
Dylan, you've obviously been here to several assistant coordinators, so there's a linebacker coaches. What has Scotty Hazen brought to the table that's helped you become a better linebacker?
I feel like it's knowledge of the game, because there's things that Scotty has brought to the table that I love my 2 previous coaches, but they didn't have that type of knowledge in the sense that Scotty has, because being able to see the progression through the coaches, Hazelton's on a whole nother level of understanding the ball game, just the in and outs and that type of stuff, and just indicators, and kind of teaching us what to look at film. And he'll give us hints in there, that type of stuff, what to look at. And so I think just the knowledge of the football game, I think, is probably the biggest thing that he's brought to the linebacker, and kind of shared that upon us.
It's a good Hazelton story. What makes him tick? What have you what's kind of key about?
A good Hazelton story. I'm trying to think.
wife's birthday.
I guess the funniest thing is he hates wearing shoes. He hates wearing shoes, but Coach Dicker makes him wear them. So whenever he can, he'll take his shoes off and he'll just walk around barefoot.
Like in the offices?
Yeah, not like in the offices. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but he'll be walking around barefoot like in our position meetings. Like he hates wearing the shoes, and I don't blame him. It's more comfortable without shoes. But I guess that's probably the funniest thing about Coach Chase.
Do you find yourself trying to tune out the praise that you guys are getting for being there on a 2-game winning streak at this point?
Definitely. You can. All you have to think about is the next opponent, next game. You can't really look outside, because you start looking outside of it and you start believing it. Obviously, believing it's an important thing, but then you start getting a little bit too high and you start cutting corners. So as soon as you start cutting corners, that's when things start to crumble apart. So it's just day by day, keeping to the little things, keeping to the small things, and we're gonna be successful if we just do that.
Have you seen cutting corners over the last 2 years?
Not necessarily. No, I haven't really seen cutting corners or getting away from the small things. I would say this year this team has done an amazing job of doing their job and kind of emanates who we are, what we do. I feel like this team, especially this year, has been really good at sticking to who we are, which is an aggressive defense. Aggressive defense. We know what's going to come, and we're going to be. We're going to attack you with everything we got. No hesitation at it.
Anything else for Dylan? All right. Thanks. Yellow jersey.
Yeah, nah. I'm healthy. I feel good. I feel great. I'm excited for the game Saturday. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
At some point, we had a conversation with Dickert about how you'd always be in a yellow jersey on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And you were gonna throw it away and come out in the black jersey anyway. But.
Yeah, nah. I definitely went through that a couple times, not wanting to put the yellow jersey on, because I'm like, man, just let me put the number 1 back on so I can feel like myself again. But today he gave me the opportunity and it felt great, and I feel good.
Do you feel like yourself for the first time being banged up off and on throughout the first 6 games?
I do feel really fresh. I'm not gonna say all the way like myself. I'm definitely gonna give it the rest of this week to continue to get better in the training room and get my body back right. But come Saturday, I should be 100% ready to go.
Has it been frustrating?
It's been frustrating, but being a captain and being a leader that a lot of guys look up to, I have to walk around with the right mindset and the right approach to it. I've been playing ball for a while now, and I just had some scary injuries, but that's just a part of the game, and I'm just grateful for the staff we have to continue to support me along this journey, and these next 6 games I want to be as healthy as I can to continue to put the Deeks in the best position to win.
I feel like after you come back in the same game from dislocated kneecap?
Yeah, dislocated kneecap.
Once you've done that, you have to come back from everything, right?
Yeah, 100%. And so, I was telling my coach that when I damaged my wrist, I got to go back out there. But he was protecting me, and this staff does a great job, and allowing me to be done and not put myself at more risk of getting greater injuries. And so I definitely appreciate that.
SMU does a lot of things well to stop the run. Mm-hmm. What do you see from them on tape that has them holding everybody to low yardage?
I think their D-line is very chaos. They cause a lot of chaos. They're big up front. The defense definitely generates through those guys. And so, as an offense, we got to be able to move those guys. I feel like once we get to the secondary, we do have chances to, create explosives, make those guys miss an open space. And so, it's definitely going to be a great challenge, a great opportunity, but I definitely think we're ready and prepared for it.
We've heard a lot, especially early in the year, about how hard you work during the off-season to prepare for this year. Does getting in that routine of the working in the dark, did that help you kind of get through these last few weeks?
Yeah, 100%. I think, being down with the injuries, I really played in 4 games, and so, still having a decent year. So, like I said, Coach Reed and Coach Ezell and Coach Digger and Coach Ben, they all do a great job in just keeping me, in it and allowing me to see that, bro, I played a lot of ball, and it's okay to, sometimes just, sit and let your body recover and heal. And so, definitely was frustrating for a little minute, but like I said, I got the great support around me. to help me, and it's definitely been something I've been appreciative of.
How cool has it been for you to see Ty come in and have some good reps, and then Jamar even got a couple of carries?
Yeah.
They're good.
So when you look around, when you look around the country, even in the NFL now, you see, a lot of duo backs, and I definitely think that's something special. And so, being able to see Ty Clark go in there and Cersei go in there and do their thing, I'm definitely appreciative of it because, it helps Deeks win, but it also is, a good look for our room and, Coach Reed, and it just shows the, the dedication and the effort and the work that he puts in. And so, we all appreciate him, and we all want to do whatever we can to help, Wake Forest win, but also, leave a good reputation for our coach. And so, just, being able to put our best foot forward, watching him play or Cersei play, I'm definitely excited. And throughout the year, we're going to need each other to continue to fall back on each other.
What's your feeling with this being the only home game in the stretch of like 6 weeks?
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I like going away. I actually think I play a little better when I'm away. And so, and I'm excited for it for sure.
Do you know if that's statistically accurate?
I don't really get into all of it, but I kind of I tell myself that.
Okay, fair. Whatever works.
Yeah, I definitely going to try to do both, but yeah, definitely away games, just less pressure, I feel. So.
Good. Anything else for the month? Good.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.